If you are applying for jobs online, you need to know how these ATS systems work so that you can find clever ways to beat them with your resume. That way you can get more job interviews. If you arrived at this video and you're wondering why so many people want to know how to beat the applicant tracking systems or the bots or the algorithms when you are applying for jobs online, it's because these ATS systems will weed out and reject resumes that get applied so that recruiters don't have to review hundreds and hundreds of resumes. So you need to know how to beat these ATS systems so that your resume is not automatically getting rejected, and this way you can actually get your resume in front of a recruiter. On average, there's about 200 applications for every job that's posted online. So recruiters obviously don't have time to sit through and read 200 different resumes, and that's where the ATS software comes into play. But how do these systems automatically narrow down and reject these resumes? Well, the first way is some ATS systems have built-in screening questions. You may have noticed these if you've ever applied to a job on Indeed or Monster. Sometimes you may be prompted to answer certain very specific questions about your background. These questions usually cover very basic but important information about the role, like do you have a bachelor's degree? Are you willing to come to the office? When you're filling out these questions, don't lie, because sure, it may get your resume in front of a recruiter and you may even get an interview, but if you say that you're qualified for something that you're actually not, you're just going to end up getting rejected later on. Now, some of the more advanced ATS systems actually have a scan and sort algorithm that's built into their software. This allows the recruiter to input certain keywords or qualifications that they want the algorithm or the system to parse for when it scans your resume every time you upload it to apply for a job. The ATS system can actually then rank these resumes based on the number of keywords or other qualifications that they match, and then it will sort them and only show the top resumes that it believes are a good fit to the recruiter based on its algorithm. So that means the first thing you got to double check on your resume is that it is easy to read and it is in a readable format like .docx or .pdf. Also pay attention to the layout of your resume. You don't want there to be extra columns or things that may throw off this scan and sort software. You're going to want it to be pretty straightforward and no tables, no graphs, no images, just pure text following and using the full margins. A few examples of things that the system will be scanning for on your resume is your education level, like do you have a bachelor's degree or a master's degree, your years of experience, your current and other recent job titles, relevant certifications like the CPA or the CFA, and of course your current location. So this should tell you that the second thing you need to optimize your resume is to utilize as many keywords as possible that you can find on these job descriptions. And you're going to want to use the long form and short form of each of these specific keywords. Just put the short form in parentheses. For example, if they're hiring for a digital marketing manager, they're obviously going to want someone who has SEO experience or knows search engine optimization. So in your resume, you're going to want to put both of those terms. Now, if you're finding this video to be helpful so far, make sure you click that subscribe button down below. And if you're already subscribed, share this video with a friend who is applying for jobs right now and could use this advice. Now, in addition to scanning your resume for certain keywords, ATS systems will also be able to store information on you, like which jobs you've applied to, when you've applied to them, if you've interviewed, what your interview scores are, and any references. All of these factors will affect your ranking in the ATS system when they present resumes to a recruiter. So what this means for you when you are applying online is that you shouldn't apply for different jobs and jobs at different levels, because it's going to confuse the ATS system and lower your ranking. For example, if you're applying for manager level roles and individual contributor level roles, it's going to confuse the system and lower your ranking. Similarly, if you interviewed for a job 6 months ago and you applied again for the exact same job, it's going to lower your ranking. The next thing you need to know about ATS systems is that when they're scanning resumes, they read and scan them top to bottom, left to right, just like a human would. So that means you're going to want to organize everything to be in chronological order from most recent to least recent. This goes for your job titles, your employment history, and your education or your degrees. This is another reason why using a functional resume format when you are switching careers is actually going to hurt you when you are applying for jobs online, because it lowers your ranking. And this is also why you should avoid using tables, charts, graphs, and columns in your resume, because it will affect how the system can scan it from top to bottom. Which is good news because you don't need to waste any money on these fancy resume templates and just keep it simple. This website actually has a very good example because it shows what the resume looks like when it was uploaded versus what it's actually looking like when the system scans it through its text. Because this resume uses columns, you can see that the text is jumbled and the ordering doesn't look great, so this will hurt your ranking. Now, you need to remember that at the end of the day, recruiters are still going to be manually reviewing and approving all of the resumes that get put to the top of the ATS system, which means you shouldn't overload your resume with too many keywords just to optimize it for a higher ranking. And you also shouldn't add keywords in white text and hide it in the margins just to increase your ranking also. Because if you're not qualified for the job, you're going to get rejected either way. And plus, if they find out that you included extra keywords unnecessarily or even threw in keywords in white text just to increase your ranking, it may get you blacklisted, which isn't worth it. Now keep in mind, every company's job description is going to be slightly different. They may all be hiring for the same type of job, but they may be giving those jobs different titles. Or they may be looking for the same skills, but using different keywords. So for the jobs that you really want, you are going to want to customize your resume and check these two areas specifically. And in order to do that, you're going to want to study and analyze the job description just like this. Here is a sample job description, and I'm going to walk you through the keywords that I would put into the ATS system if I was the recruiter for this role. Now you're going to notice that I'm focusing on all of the hard skills or all of the technical skills. Things like different softwares that someone would be using, or the different languages that you need to know, or any specific methodologies. I will not be using any keywords related to soft skills, like teamwork or collaboration or leadership. And if all of this seems too overwhelming, the easiest place to start is go to the minimum qualifications and look for anything technical that they're mentioning in terms of keywords. And then you're going to want to check all of the preferred qualifications and do the same thing. Now, the next thing that you need to know is the largest and biggest corporations do not use any type of algorithm or bot in their ATS systems. That's because they have so many job openings that they can't afford to automatically reject people who apply. The biggest companies actually pay recruiters and people to sit down and manually review every single person that applies online. The reason is because if they have so many job postings, they're going to want to maximize all of the applications that are coming in. So just because you applied for a role, it doesn't mean you're not a good fit at that company, and you could be a really great fit for another position that you either didn't see or that you didn't apply for. So what this means for you is that you shouldn't get discouraged and don't have too much imposter syndrome when you are applying for these big companies. They're going to be doing their best to try to find a home for you because that's the best bang for their buck. Alright, so now you know how to optimize your resume to beat the applicant tracking system. And if you want me to create more videos analyzing job descriptions so you know which specific keywords to include on your resume, go ahead and put that down in the comment section below and include what job description you would like me to analyze. As always, thank you all for watching, and don't be afraid to shake things up now that you know how to make a really good resume.